Deb from Living Life, and I am going over to Costco this morning. There are a few things that I need to pick up. We've got a Sam's and a Costco over on the other side of town, and there are a few things that I like to get at Sam's that they don't have at Costco, and then there are a few things at Costco that I like to get that they don't have at Sam's. So we do have a membership at both, but it's kind of nice just to be able to, it's just Mark and I, but it is kind of nice to be able to go over about once a month and just stock up on cleaning supplies, paper towels, toilet papers, things like that. So I have a few minutes that I can go and do that this morning. And then I also need to get gas because I noticed that I'm down to like 30 miles on the truck. So yeah, we're gonna go take care of that this morning. And then my plan is to try and get my video made for my hamburger buns. I made a thing of hamburger buns last week and they turned out perfect. So I want to share that recipe with you guys. And so, alrighty, let's get over to Costco. And as normal, it seems to be pretty busy. It's alright. We will get on this line right here. That is one thing that I'll have to say about the Costco gas station. It tends to get pretty busy. Well, the store does too. So, alrighty. So it doesn't actually look too busy today, but although we are here a little earlier than normal too. It's only a little after 10, so get in here before the crowd. All right, let's go get a few things that I have to have. First thing in the morning. It's not quite as busy. Not quite. Let's see. I think I want to get one of these pineapples. Really good. There's a good one. It's not bad. $3.49. Do need to get some apples. All right, what do we got? Cosmic Crisp, $5.89. boneless, skinless chicken breast, 2 in a pack. $28.91. Those are good to stick in the freezer though. Milk, $2.89. Paper towels, $20.79. Put that underneath. There's 12 rolls, so that should last over a month. Laundry soap pads, Tide, $29.99. There are 4 bags in here, so altogether it's 156 packs. So right there, that'll last at least a month, if not more. Bounce dryer sheets, $11.59. Havarti cheese. It is a 32-ounce pack. No preservatives, no GMO, no hormones, and that is $8.99. Some of the Kirkland uncured Black Forest ham, no nitrates or no nitrates added, $9.99. That makes really good sandwiches during the week. £12-pound bag, all-purpose flour, $8.99. It's also unbleached. Raza, my sizzle. It is $16.99. Oh, I see. Oh my gosh, these chips are so yummy. $4.99. Michigan cherry barbecue. So yummy. Okay, I did forget yogurt. Actually wanted to make some homemade yogurt at home this week, but I don't know if I'm going to have time. So let me see what they have. Excuse me. Here we go. These are pretty good. They are usually $9.49, but there is a $3.10 rebate, so it's $6.39. Okay. Are out of here. Alright, that wasn't too painful. Looks a little busier out here, but I I'm glad it's done. So, got stocked up on the few things that I have to have. And all good. Alrighty guys, just got home from my Costco trip. Before I put all the stuff away, I just wanted to share with you the small little haul that I made today. Okay, first let's show you what I got. I did get the big pack of the boneless, skinless chicken breasts. There are no added hormones, no added steroids, no added salts or anything. And there is, I believe, 2 breasts per package. I'm not 100% sure. Yes, 2. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 packs here. Then I did get the pack of the uncured Black Forest ham. I got pineapple. I got a 4-pound bag of the Cosmic Crisp apples. Then this I picked up. Mark and I really enjoy this in the evening. It is honey, citron, and ginger tea. And it's actually, after you open up, you put it in the refrigerator and you just take like 2 tablespoons of it and you dissolve it in either hot water or cold water. And it's really good. We do the hot water with it. And in the evening time when we are doing whatever, whether we're watching TV or working on the computer, whatever, we'll have a cup of that. Let's see, where was I? Oh, I got the big pack of the Havarti cheese, sliced cheese. And then the gallon of milk. I did get the twin pack of the Sizzle Extra Virgin Graza olive oil. And then I grabbed the bag of the Great Lakes kettle cooked Michigan cherry barbecue potato chips. They were on sale today over there, so I did grab a bag of those, which I don't normally do a whole lot of chips, but if I'm going to make homemade hamburger buns or bread, we'll do some sandwiches this week for lunch or even for dinner, and we'll just have some of those with the sandwich. I grabbed a 12-pack of the Noosa yogurts. Then as far as like cleaning supplies, I did need the fabric softener sheets, so I got the big pack of the fabric softener sheets. I got the big box that has 4 separate bags of the Tide Pods, which are 156 of the little pods. So that will last, oh my goodness, that'll last me probably 2 months. I don't get that very often. Then I did grab the big bag of the paper towels. Again, that'll probably last 2 months. There's 12 rolls and they're pretty big rolls. So I usually only get these every couple months. And then I did get the big 12-pound bag of the unbleached all-purpose flour, because I'm wanting to do a little more of the baking on the homemade breads, the homemade hamburger hot dog buns. So I did grab that while I was there. So let me get you a total here. So for this time around, it was $174.60. So again, a lot of that stuff is stuff that is going to be lasting for a couple of months. So, yeah. So anyway, I'm going to get this stuff put away, and then I think I'm going to do my recipe for the homemade hamburger buns this afternoon. I want to get that going because it does have a total of about 3-hour rising time for the dough. And I want those for tonight. So, but yep, there it is. There is my small Costco haul for just Mark and I. Welcome back. I did put all of my Costco haul stuff away, and I am wanting to now show you my recipe that I actually just found this recipe a couple of weeks ago, and it is for homemade hamburger and hot dog buns. And I absolutely love it. I tried it last week, and I did hamburger buns, and they turned out perfect. So I'm gonna share the recipe with you guys today. We're gonna go through it, and I will show you actually just how easy it is. Involves a little bit of time since you have to let the dough rise, but it is so well worth it. Alrighty, so I have got the recipe here in front of me. You're gonna have to excuse me because I probably will be looking down at the recipe, but it's not one that I have memorized, so I need to make sure that I get everything right. So first, what we want to do is I've got my stand mixer, and we are going to mix our yeast and our warm water and a little bit of the flour just to get the yeast to bloom so that our dough will rise. So first, what we're going to start out with is I have the active dry yeast. I've already measured out. The recipe is calling for one of the packs, and I buy it in the jar. So that is going to be equal to 2 1/4 teaspoons. So we are just going to add that right into our mixing bowl. I'm going to get you over here where we can get a little bit of a closer view here. Okay, to that, we are actually going to whisk in about 1/2 cup of our flour. All right, so I'm just gonna put that right in, and I'm just gonna take my whisk and whisk the flour and the yeast just a little bit. In most recipes, I know you usually just put the yeast in the warm water, but this, you actually add a little bit of the flour to it, and I don't know what the secret is, but they turned out perfect. So I am following the recipe. Alrighty, now to that, I am going to get my warm water. And when I say warm water, I need a cup, but when I say warm water, it can't be too hot, can't be too cold. If it's too hot, it will kill the yeast. If it is too cold, it won't activate. So what I like to do is just kind of get it warm, like if you were testing a bathtub of water and you kind of feel it on the back of your hand just to make sure it's not too hot. Well, you know you have it about right. So I am just going to let this run till we have about the right temperature. All right, that should be perfect. So we need, oops, did I overdo it? I overdid it a little bit. We only need a cup. And there, we got it. All right, so we're just gonna pour our water in, and I use my whisk, and I just want to whisk it around just a little bit. All right, now what we're gonna do is I am going to just let this sit for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, it is already starting to just bubble a little bit. And at the end of 10 minutes, you should have a nice foamy look, and that is that's when we're ready to move on to mixing our flour and the rest of the ingredients into our dough. So we're going to just let this set for about 10 minutes. And you can also, what I do like to do is I just take a towel, because it's all on the warmth, and it's winter here. I don't always keep the house real warm. So I am just going to put a towel over this just to keep the warmth in. All right, guys, it has been 10 minutes, so let's take a look and see what we have. Perfect. See, like I said, it'll start foaming when you know that the yeast and the flour is activated. So that is perfect. That is what we want. So we are just going to get the rest of our ingredients, and we are going to fit my KitchenAid mixer with the dough hook, and we're going to get mixing up our dough. So what we're going to do is I have 1 large egg. I've already cracked it in the bowl because I don't like to get the shells in in the mix, so I always put it into a bowl. So we've got 1 large egg. Then I've got 3 tablespoons of white sugar that I'm going to add. Then I've also got 3 tablespoons of melted butter. We're going to put that right in our mix. Then I've got 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt that we're going to mix. And I am just going to give that just a quick little mix. And as you can see, it almost gets thick and foamy when you're stirring it. And you can see all the bubbles. And that is what you want. Okay, then I am just going to go ahead and I'm going to fit my attachment, my dough hook on here. All right. And then we are just going to add the remaining flour, which is 3 cups. And I like to just start out with about half. And then we're just going to put our hook down, and I'm just going to get it to where it's starting to get incorporated. And then I'll go ahead, stop, scrape the bowl, and put the remaining flour in. Stop that. And then I'm just going to put my remaining flour in the bowl. I'll give the edges a little scrape. And what I like about this recipe, you just let it go. You're going to want to leave your mixer about 5 minutes it'll take. And you'll know when it's done because the dough will start pulling away from the sides of the bowl. And this recipe is a really, really good recipe. It's almost like you can just walk away from it and just let it go, come back in 5 minutes, and it's like perfect. I always like to go slow when you start. If not, poof, you've got all the flour in the house. And as you can see, it doesn't take long, and it mixes up so nice. I mean, it's already pulling away from the edges, and it looks real clean. almost looks like it's gonna pop right out. Shut this off, and I just want to check it real quick. Okay. It actually is almost ready to take out and finish kneading, but I want to clean it up just a little bit more. And while I'm waiting for this to finish up, I am going to come over here and I am going to grab my silicone mat that I like to use. I just like it for a nice, neat countertop. You don't have as much of a cleanup. And then I am going to put just a little bit of a dusting of flour down. Look at that, folks. Perfect. So I am just gonna finish kneading it by hand. And you just wanna, just a couple minutes of kneading it by hand. And of course, if you don't have a mixer, I mean, you can do all of these steps by hand. It just takes a little bit. It's a little bit of a workout, but this dough is actually really smooth, and I mean, it's just already perfect. So we're just gonna a little bit more here. All right, I'm gonna get it into a nice, neat ball here. Then I am going to get my bowl ready. I just have a glass bowl, and I put a little bit of olive oil in the bowl, and just to oil it a little bit. And then we are going to put our dough ball in our bowl and move it around a little bit just so it's nicely covered with a little bit of the olive oil. And then we are gonna let this rise till it doubles, which is about 2 hours. All right, perfect, perfect. All right, so let me get that bowl ready. I'm just going to drizzle just a little bit in here. And this is just so that the dough doesn't stick. There we go. And then we're just going to put our dough right in, and we're just going to turn it around a couple times just so it has a light coating of the oil. All right, we're going to put it right here, and then I am going to put a towel over the top, and then what we're going to do is we are going to put it into my oven. Now, I don't have a proofing on my oven. Some ovens you can get, and they have like a proofing on them where you can just push a button and it pops up with a certain temperature for proofing. Now I don't have that, so what I like to do is I just turn my oven on. I turned it on a little bit ago, and I just turned it on to the lowest setting, which is 175 on my oven. Just turn it on till it starts to get warm, turn it off, open up the door a little bit, and then that way the inside of my oven is nice and warm, but without it being too hot. If it's too hot, it's gonna kill your yeast in your dough and it's not gonna rise. So we're just gonna pop it in here in the nice warm oven, covered up till it has doubled in size, and that is gonna be about 2 hours. So I'm gonna push my time on here, and then we are going to see you back here in a little bit. Perfect. We'll see you back in a little bit once my dough has doubled in size. All right, friends, it has been 2 hours, and I am going to get my dough and we're going to check it out. All right, perfect. It's about doubled in size, and that's exactly what we wanted. So I have got a lightly floured mat here, and I am going to just put my dough right out there. And then what I'm going to do is just lightly roll it just to get all the air bubbles out. So roll this out, and I'm going to roll it into a rectangle shape, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to cut my dough into 8, because this recipe makes 8 hamburger buns. So I'm gonna cut it into 8 pieces that are about the same size. I'm not really so much worried if they're all identical sizes, so as long as you can eyeball it. Now, if you want to be a little more precise, you could use a kitchen scale, and that'll give you more of an actual identical size, but that's not important to me. It's the taste that is important. Okay, and I just use my pizza cutter. I don't have a dough cutter, so next best thing, we are gonna cut. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This piece is pretty big. All right. Then let me grab my baking sheet. Got a baking sheet with a silicone baking pad on it. Now, if you wanted to, you could just put parchment paper down, but I have the silicone pad, what that is on there. I have the silicone pad that I really like to use, so I'm gonna use that. And then I am just going to fold these into a nice, neat, with the seam at the bottom, just like we did our big ball of dough earlier. And I want to just make them into a nice, smooth on top round ball here. Okay, and then we're going to place them about 1 inch apart, because then what we're going to do after we get them all on the baking sheet, we're just going to lightly smash them down into kind of like a disc shape. Like I said, some may be bigger than others, but that's okay. We are going to use these for, last week I made sloppy joes. So we use them for sloppy joes. You can use them for hamburgers, sandwiches, sub sandwiches for lunch. Okay, so we have got all of our dough balls here, and then what you're going to want to do is just lightly with your fingers or the palm of your hand, just kind of smash them down a little bit so they are in the shape of a little, like a disc, because we are going to do a second rise, and that's going to be about an hour. So they are going to rise back up. We just want to push them down, get all of the air out of them. And don't be afraid to really mash them down, because they are going to rise. So you want to just kind of put them in the shape of a disc, so they're going to be nice, round, beautiful rolls. They're already coming up a little bit, so there we go. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take just a little small bit of flour, and you're just going to rub it on your fingers, and then you're going to lightly dust the top of each. You don't want a lot, just a little bit to lightly dust the top of each piece of dough. And this is going to help. Instead of putting a towel over these when they rise, we are going to put a small piece of plastic wrap over the top, and this just helps so that it doesn't stick. So we're just going to lightly dust. All right. Now, get this out of the way. Just regular cling wrap, any plastic wrap that you have. And we are not going to seal it. We are just going to loosely lay it right over the top. And since I don't like using the box to cut it, because it seems like it always just rolls up in a ball, got a pair of scissors, and we're just gonna cut it right here. Perfect. There we go. And like I said, we're not gonna seal it down. We're just loosely laying it over the top. And then we are going to put it back in our nice warm area. You can let them sit on the counter. Like I said, if your house is real warm, and they will rise just fine. I like sticking mine in my oven with the light on, and the light just kind of keeps it warm enough that for the second rise. And that will take about an hour, and then we'll see you back. All right, guys, our hour is up. And, oh yeah, looky there. Oh my goodness, these look so good. Okay, so the first thing I am gonna do is set our oven on 375. Let's get it pre-warming. Okay, while we have our oven pre-warming, I'm going to show you what we are going to do next. So, these are perfect. And if they're touching, that is fine, because when we're done baking them, we're just going to pull them apart. So what I have here is I've got 1 egg and about a tablespoon of milk, and we're just going to very lightly do a little bit of a brush of the egg wash on the top. And this is where you would put, if you were to get sesame seeds and wanted to put them up on top of the buns, or you could do like the everything bagel seasoning or any other kind of seasoning that you might want. This is when you would put it on top. We'll do the egg wash, then you'd sprinkle your seasoning on top. I am not a big fan of the sesame seeds, so we are just leaving our top of our hamburger buns plain. So let me show you. You just want to make sure you're real careful and just brush them lightly, because you do not want to deflate the hamburger buns. After they've risen, we don't want any of them deflating. So we're just going to lightly brush the tops, and this really helps to give your buns a nice brown, beautiful look. All right. So we've got them all done, and as soon as our oven reaches 375, I am going to put them in the oven, and then we're going to let them bake for 15 to 17 minutes. Okay, the timer just went off. It has been 15 minutes, and I believe my hamburger buns are done. The house smells wonderful. But let me show you these. Oh, you've got to get back, babe. You've got to get back. Hot. Look at these. Oh my gosh. They look wonderful. Oh, and they smell amazing. Amazing. So we're going to let these cool just for a couple minutes before we pull them apart. And while I'm thinking about it, friends, if you could give me a thumbs up if you've liked the video that I've shared with you today, and subscribe and maybe share my video. And if there are any recipes that you would like me to try, or if you have tried to make hamburger buns before and you want to try this recipe, leave it in the comments and just let me know what you thought about the recipe. So we are going to get these pulled apart, and I just want to show you how soft they are. And you can just eat these right out of the oven. But if you want to use them for hamburger buns, you just let them cool. And then once they're completely cooled, you just take a knife and you can slice them real easily. But I am going to check one of these. Oh, wow. Ooh, they're hot. But look at that. I don't know if you can really see the shine on those with the egg wash, but that is a perfect, perfect hamburger bun. And since I can't wait, I am going to grab a little bit of butter, and we're going to try one. This is like my favorite part of the recipes when I make them, is our taste testing. So, all right. Ooh, they are still really warm. All right. But look at this. Look at how easy and how fluffy they are inside. That is perfect. They are still really warm, but there's nothing like a hot piece of bread with some butter. Oh my gosh. These are so good. So light and airy inside. Perfect. And like I said, friends, if you wanted to put some of the sesame seeds on or any of the other toppings, but I just like mine plain. So that's what I did today. But like I said, if you like this recipe and you like the video, give me a thumbs up, guys. And until the next video, you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Bye, friends.